அந்த ஃபேன் வேணால் போட்டுருமா? जानकीकान्तस्मरणं जय जय राम राम। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जयत्यतिबलो रामः लक्ष्मणश्च महाबलः राजा जयति सुग्रीवः राघवेनाभिपालितः। जय सीताराम। Today we are going to enjoy a very unique chapter in Srimad Valmiki Ramayana. As the chapter's number indicates, I think the chapter has that kind of a weight. Typically we all say, did you score 100 out of 100? The chapter number is 100. The chapter's name is Rajya Nirvaha Upadeshaha, the concept of Ramaraja. Rama reached the forest, and we all know Rama's action is the pinnacle of Tyaga. Okay, Tyaga or renunciation has to happen for something which is very, very lovable to us. Rama loves the kingdom. It is not because he didn't love the kingdom, he came to the forest. He loved the kingdom like anything, and he has been aspiring to rule the kingdom and spread the joy. As his name indicates, Ramateti Ramaha, Ramayateti Ramaha. So not alone he wants to enjoy, but he wants to spread the joy to the entire world, which is what we see when the build-up to the coronation is happening. Yatasma Lalita Pitra. The people there are all saying that we are going to enjoy like anything under Rama's rule. Alamadhyahi Bhuktena Paramarthai Alamchanaha. In fact, they are going to that extent. We are all so used to see the meaning of Dharma as the synthesis of Abhyudaya and Nishrayasa. Here in some sense you can take the Bhoga as the Abhyudaya aspect, the materialistic aspect for the people, but Paramartha is the spiritualistic delight. People are saying for us, Ramaraja is above this Abhyudaya and Nishrayasa concept. Very unique. We need to be in Ramaraja. We need to be under the tutelage and guidance of Rama to understand, I think, the statement of the people. This is not somebody else saying. This is not Rama's family saying. This is not Rama's family, of course. I mean, it is, the world itself is the family for Rama. But a lot of people are blessing, are glorifying Rama with these words when he is going towards the Kaikeyi Bhavana on the day of coronation. So we can understand the expectation of Ramaraja, and Rama was always nurturing himself for that great position, because he knows the pinnacle of being the head of that state, to be a Chakravarti. The maximum impact of Dharma can be performed at that level. This is again reinforced by the fact that Bharata, when he comes and meets Rama again and again, he pleads with Rama, saying the kind of Dharma you will be able to perform or to influence or to control. This is anyway a management subject, so we will have to bear with some terminologies today. Typically they used to call, there is a sphere of control, there is a sphere of influence. Okay, control is something directly whatever is under you. Okay, for a student and teacher, the teacher directly controls the student also. But for the outside world, the teacher can influence. Okay, influence is without any force or without any direct. It is not a reward and recognition kind of a system. That is influence. I mean, we can get influenced by the West. Okay, certain places they directly exert control over us by their marketing campaigns, advertising, etc., the kind of clothes, the kind of goods. But certain things are ideological. Ideology, you get influenced. Certain places it is forced, so there is control. Certain places it is influence. So likewise, Bharata feels the sphere of control and sphere of influence can be maximum if Rama rules the kingdom. This is fundamental. So Rama loves the Rajya, and that Rajya he has given up for the sake of something which is much bigger than that. He feels the highest form of dharma is Satya. Satyameva Ishvaraha Loke. That's what he feels. Therefore, for that, everything is subservient to it. Everything has to be adding to that Satya. We all know Ramayana stands for truth and chastity. Rama stands for truth and chastity. For the truth, he gave up this kingdom. He came to the forest. But this chapter, in a nutshell, and Ranganji has translated Rajya Nirvaha Upadeshaha as the concept of Ramarajya. Very beautifully, this is sort of the 100th chapter. It is holistic. 100 represents holistic nature in a lot of aspects. And that is sort of a central theme which we need to see in conjunction with the first chapter and the last chapter. Rama Gunas has some of these aspects, and very beautifully Valmiki, when he has composed this epic, the first chapter he lays, like how Dr. Ranganji says, the subject matter of an epic, of a kavya, is seen in the first set of verses. So there itself Valmiki gives the prescription of what this kavya is all about. It is about all Rama Gunas. It is about Gunas, and the Gunas happen to be in Rama, because he starts with Gunas and then he goes and asks who is that person having his Gunas. It is Rama. First chapter of Ayodhya Kanda talks about Rama Gunas, again from Valmiki's perspective. Then the second chapter talks from the perspective of the Mahajanas. The last chapter talks about, again, the concept of Ramarajya. This is somewhere in between. So we need to read this chapter in sync with the first chapter and the last chapter. How this is transpiring. And as we said, Rama loves the kingdom. So he wants to do so much for the society. Unfortunately, he didn't get the chance. And he was sent to the forest. He had to stay true to the words of his father, to the Vak, and he came here. This chapter is in some sense a reflection of what Rama would have done if he had continued, if he had taken the rulership. Very beautifully it's structured, and we always know how Vedas are very close. The Ramayana is very close to Vedas. And typically Dr. Ranganji says Vedas are not a tool which talks about injunctions. It is not about just the do's and don'ts. Whereas it talks in a very beautiful flow, we need to pick up the essence of the Veda and we need to inculcate in our lives. Likewise, this chapter, Rama is not telling Bharata, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Very beautifully he is structured such that, are you doing this? Are you structuring like this? Is this how your thought process is? Is this how things happen in your state? And it's not a long time since he has come to the forest. So in some sense, it gives a clear vision of the concept of Ramaraja, what was in his mind. The fact that he was not able to transfer this knowledge. In management parlance, succession planning is a very important thing. In fact, succession planning is the start of the epic. The first sarga talks about Ramagunas. The second sarga talks about the succession planning of Dasharatha in a beautiful democratic way, not just autocratic also. And typically, from a management perspective, the success of a leader is not to attribute all the success to himself or herself. It is how many leaders you create that defines their legacy. Okay, this is something, in fact, in our company also, we term it as leadership to legend. Okay, you can be a leader, but if you are leaving behind a legacy, then you are a legend. Okay, legends are what we talk till today. Ramayana, Mahabharata. Legendary characters are Rama, Krishna. Leaders, maybe 15 years, 20 years, 50 years at the maximum. After that, if you are not talking about them, they have been very good leaders, but they have not been legends. You need to transcend leadership to be legends. Legends create more leaders. It's very important for leaders to procreate leaders. That's what we see in Dasharatha. Right time he is found and he wants to hand over because Rama is his prime age. And there is a background given of Rama Gunas and he asks the people and he says, you are Madhyasthas, you please suggest. Then after that, people also give the Rama gunas, and therefore unanimously they all decide, okay, Rama, in a lot of places, Rama is equivalent to Dasharatha, we keep seeing. Valmiki himself says that Rama is Dasharathottamaha in certain aspects. And incidentally, today morning, there was another session where we were talking about Vibhishana Sharanagati. There we saw Mitra Bhavena Sampraptam, Natyajayam Katanchana, Dosho Idyapi Tasya Syat. So there, even if somebody comes with some dosha, with Mahapurushas, especially for people like Rama, in that Sanidhya, if you come, the small errors, blunders which are there get corrected, and Rama is the person who takes everybody along with him. He will correct that error, like how he corrected the course of Sugriva, he corrected the course of Lakshmana, and he takes them along with them. That is the Saulabhya of great leaders. So likewise, at every juncture, how they are able to take people along, this particular aspect we are seeing in Dasharatha. Dasharatha is first tabling the very concept of succession planning, and he wants people to deliberate, and if people had other thoughts, he would have had a good deliberation. To take people along is a very important thing. Rama follows that. In Vibhishana Sharanagati, we know how Mantralochana happens. We see Ravana's Mantralochana, we see Rama's Mantralochana, how he is structuring the Mantralochana and taking everybody along, even if there are diverse points of view, and to evolve a consensus. This is what, in fact, Ravana talks about, the aspect of the best ministers. Everybody will talk with scriptural reference, they will talk with logic, they will come with diverse points of view. Finally, they will all converge with single directional goal, they will move forward. That is what he talks about, but unfortunately it doesn't happen. Okay, theoretical knowledge we can learn from Ravana. Theoretical and practical knowledge we can learn from Rama. In fact, I am reminded of a couple of, I think what, darkness and deep darkness, what our guru used to say. I think it is important to balance both. Theory is also needed, practicality is also needed. Both are needed for you to reach the light. Only practice also might lead to maybe little darkness, only theory, deeper darkness. To reach the light, I think we need this combination, is what it looks like. So very beautifully, this is seen in Dasharatha, and Rama here, through his words to Bharata, is expressing how he would have had this Ramarajya. The other interesting thing here is how Rama is keeping dharma as the focus. We all know yataha abhyudaya nishrayasa siddhihi sadharmaha. This particular Ramarajya, it starts with a lot of abhyudayic elements. Towards the end, in fact, he goes to nishrayasa as well. Right? We will see that today in the course of the next 45 minutes. The other one I already mentioned, it is not an injunction. By way of asking, by way of the way how our world within is structured in our darshan, through asking, you get the answers. From the answers, again question. The pratibha is an important aspect. A lot of acharyas in our tradition, they ask questions, the student starts answering. From answer, the acharya again asks question. The student again starts responding. It is how Bhrigu and Varuna keep talking. That is how I think our padati is. Like how a sculpture is created, the acharya is able to remove all those superimpositions and then craft the sculpture in the Sishya's heart. That is how it is. So here also Rama is asking these questions and saying, I am sure you will be doing this, I am sure you will be doing this, etc. And it is structured like that. Now let's get into this concept of Ramaraja. What does he ask? What is he deliberating here? And while Ramaraja, the last sarga of Yuddhakanda talks about the Palashruti also, the effect of Ramaraja is also dealt in detail. Here I think the principles of Ramaraja is dealt quite elaborately. And as is in any sciences, you can see management as an art, management as a science. And I was thinking today, it's a big chapter, it's very intense. Typically we all are used to Q words. Okay, what are Q words? We need some references. Okay, how do you associate? Okay, if it is a voluminous thing, how to put in memory? Is there an acronym? We can find that in sciences. For example, BODMAS. I think these kids also will be knowing. What is BODMAS? What is BODMAS in mathematics?
Brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction.
Yes. You have a bracket. First you need to solve for the bracket. Okay. Then you need to look into your division, multiplication, then addition, subtraction. You cannot go in the other order. Then your mathematics result will be wrong. Okay. It is called BODMAS. Okay. There is an expansion to this term. Likewise, we all know E equal to mc square. Okay. A famous Einstein's theory. Likewise, F is equal to ma. These are all short forms. Force is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity. So everywhere we see these equations, we see these short forms. So I was wondering, we are also going to talk about management science. This huge chapter, how do we compress and make it easily rememberable? Okay. Then I was thinking, okay, you keep looking all around, no? I think in all of our Eastern sciences, we see, okay, you keep looking all around and finally the answer will be within you. So, and I saw actually the answer lies in Ramaraja. Okay, Ramaraja is the acronym. So, I'll give you this sutra. All these are E equal to mc square, BODMAS and all are sutras, right? So, for Ramaraja, what is the sutra? Ramaraja is the sutra. Very beautifully they have kept. It is Rajya Nirvaha Upadeshaha. We can keep it as Ramarajya Nirvaha Upadeshaha. Okay, so, but I am moving it to English. The lecture is in English, no? So, we need to expand. So, what is R? Okay, RAMA, RAJYA. That is the acronym what Rama talks about in this. Certain alphabets will have more than one topic associated. So what is R? R stands for royal family. Okay, it is in that sequence also, except for one change. It will be in that sequence. So Rama starts, we will see how this is transpiring in this chapter. R stands for royal family. What is A? A stands for Acharya. Okay, after royal family, there is Acharya. M is easy. Ministers. Very good. So I think you are already catching up. So M stands for ministers. What is A after that? A is army. Very good. I think we all have the solutions within us. A is army. What is the next R? This R is a bit complex. Okay, I should admit it's not going to be easy. Because only with Ramaraja, 9 characters, it is difficult to get everything which is in this chapter. This R, there is resources, there is revenue, there is remuneration, there is rewards, there is recognition, a lot of R's. And all these terms are very, very important in management parlance. Resource, remuneration, revenue, reward, recognition, all these aspects come in each of the slokas. Okay, the next one is A. This A is also a bit complex. It's not a straightforward one. There are more than one A which is there. Okay, this A, if you go in that sequence, after this resources, after this revenue, remuneration, etc. comes ambassadors. Okay, ambassadors. And I termed it as alertful spies. Okay, because spies, dutas are required, charas are required. Then the other A is agriculture. Rama talks a lot about agriculture. Then there is administration. He talks a lot about administration. The last A is Ayodhya, because there's a lot he talks about Ayodhya as well. So let's keep it simply. The R has 5 R's. And the A also is 5 A's. So 5 A's into 1 A, 5 R's into 1 R. Okay, that's the only complexity. J is what? No. Very close. Justice, judiciary. Jurisdiction, yeah, judiciary is a better one. Judiciary. Okay, all these are different aspects. Even in our constitution, we talk about there is executive, there is judiciary. All these parts are there, like in the parliament. Then we come into Y. Y is a bit tough. It's not very easy. Because after that, there's a lot. And there are only 2 more letters which are there. So we can't make it much more complex. What is Y? Y for me was Yama and Niyama. Okay, there's a lot of things he talks about. Things to be done and things to be undone. What are the blemishes and what are things to be done. And there is a last A. For me, that A is actually close to Atma. Okay, it is the practices for the Atma, because that is where Rama talks about the Nishrayasa aspect to it. He talks about Vedas, he talks about how close to self-actualization, you can call it actualization also. In the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the highest level is actualization. Okay, there are all your bread and butter needs which are there. Then there are your social needs. Then there are your esteem needs. Then after that, there is recognition needs, there is esteem needs, and there is actualization need. So the actualization is this Atma related. Okay, we can say actualization, Atma, Ananda. So all are A's. So this is Ramaraja. Okay, royal family, Acharya, ministers, army, the 5 R's. Okay, revenue, resources, remuneration, reward, recognition. Then there is the 5 A's, which is ambassador, alertful spies, administration. You have agriculture, and you have Ayodhya. Actually, agriculture is also agriculture and allied businesses. There is also something what they call as allied businesses to agriculture, because after agriculture comes business. Okay, agriculture is the Krishi, but the Vanijya is an outcome of agriculture. It's called allied businesses. That's how it is in our term itself. Industry codes talk about it. And then we talk about J, which is justice, judiciary. And then we talk about Y, which is Yama and Niyama. And the last A is basically your actualization or Atma. So this is how Rama structures Ramaraja. So how he starts very beautifully with the royal family. He asks Bharata, how is the king? How is the king, great king Dasharatha, the Chakravarti, how is he? Is he doing all Ashvamedas and Rajasuyas without any break? Is he doing all these great yajnas? Then he also asks about the royal family, which is about the mothers. How is Kausalya? How is Kaikeyi? How is Sumitra? The royal family, the head of the state has to be protected by all means. Because there is another chapter which also talks about how without the Raja, how without the royal family, there will be a lot of chaos. Okay, without the head of the state, the entire world will be shunya. The entire state will suffer like anything. There will not be any justice. All the aspects of Ramaraja, the root, the seed is sitting in that first R. If the first R is not there, the rest of the Ramaraja aspects will not happen. So it's important. It also says Rajya. So for the Rajya, Raja has to be there. So the royal family he starts with. Then he moves to the next aspect, which is Acharya. He asks about Vasishta. Oh Bharata, how is Vasishta? How is Vasishta? Immediately after that, how is Suyajna? Suyajna, he also says very beautifully, Anasuyuhu anudrashta sakritaste purohitaha. How is Suyajna? The man of insights. Okay, he's an Acharya, he's a man of Pratibha. He has great insights. As he teaches, he gives a lot of insights. So he is the guide, he is the friend, philosopher and guide. In fact, when they are starting during Yatra Dana, Rama calls Lakshmana and starts with Suyajna, all the Yatra Dhanas. There he says, our very, very beloved Suyajna, our friend, philosopher and guide. That kind of a Suyajna who is a man of insights. So how is he? How is Vasishta? How is Suyajna? Are you honoring each of them? Are you taking their guidance on your daily as well as your long-term goals and aspirations? He also asks, are the acharyas guiding you with your daily rituals, with your practices, etc., including the ritual fire? The ritual fire is very, very important. Therefore, are they guiding in all these things? So the start point is about Brahmakshatram. Okay, the Acharya aspect and the royal family aspect is the Brahmakshatram aspect of it. Both of these are inseparable. Both of this for governance, there is austerity and governance. These two should go hand in hand. And very beautifully, we are seeing both of this. Kachidevan pitrin matruhu gurun pitru samanapi vrdamcha tata vaidhyamscha brahmanamscha abhimanyase. So thereafter, the guidance of the gurus are translating into how you are doing your yajnas. Okay, all the different forms of yajnas are here. Pitru yajna, bhuta yajna, manusya yajna, brahma yajna, deva yajna. So therefore, how are you respecting your gods? How are we treating your ancestors? How are you regarding your scriptures? How are you regarding your gurus? All these things are the next question Rama asks Bharata. Then he moves to Sudanva. He is the other Acharya. Sudanva is their archery guru. For them, for Kshatriya Dharma, the archery is very, very important. Not just archery, very beautifully, it is also about Artha Shastra Visharadam. Okay. So it's a tongue twisting thing. There is Artha Shastra, there is Astra Shastra. And Artha Shastra. Both the Shastras, Artha and Astra, both are incidentally sitting in the same person, Sudanva. Okay. Huh? Acharya Ye. So very beautifully here he asks, he is an expert in archery as well as in economics. Are you revering that priest, Sudanva? After that he moves to Yam. What is Yam? Ministers. Ministers is a big one. Right? Ministers are very, very important even today. All our ministers, whether in the state, the members of the legislative assembly, or the members of the parliament, the ministers of different ranks, ministers of state, ministers in the Samaha Shuraha Shuta Atma Samaha Shuraha. These ministers have to be equal to you. Okay, it is important to have. Ministers should not be Amasami. They cannot be sycophantic. Okay, which is what we see in Ravana Sabha, right? Ravana says something, everybody say, yeah, okay. Sir, nothing like you. You are the best. You know everything. Here also in Rama Sabha, people say that. But after that, they also give their points of view. In fact, they are open to give their counterpoint of view also. We see that in Vibhisha Sharanagati. Everyone has a point of view. In fact, the first four ministers, in fact, all the ministers say, Rama, there is nothing unknown to you. Because of your greatness, you are giving us, we will give our points of view. And everybody gives the point of view which is against the point of view of the universal Lord. Okay, four ministers, everybody together, the four ministers, we can assume safely, including Sugriva, the fifth person, the head of that organization, aligns entirely to the people below. The people can have their points of view. The chairperson's view will be much more subtle. Here very beautifully Valmiki also puts those words. There is Shubham, there is Shubhataram. Okay, people will talk good words, but the better words, the excellent words will be spoken by the chairperson. And the beauty of this chairperson is they will explain the logic of that higher truth or subtlety and convince everybody and consensus and take them along. That is the beauty we see. So therefore, it is not important for you to have people who are sycophants. Here, Rama is asking Bharata, are you having people who are Atma Samaha Shuraha? Okay, this Shuraha word can be just from their might also or even from their intellectual might. In fact, ministers have a lot more intellectual might. Okay, the people in the army, there is a defense minister behind. The defense minister will not go and fight. But he is going to be intelligent. Vichakshanaha. They are going to be very, very smart and intelligent. They will be Atma Samaha Shuraha. Shuraha from the perspective of their mind. Okay. Like they say, a lot of battles are won in the minds. Okay. After that, it happens in the battlefield. Shrutavantaha. They need to be following Shruti. Jitendriyaha. They need to be master of their senses. Kulinaha. They need to be from great lineage. Ingitagnyascha. They need to be people of good etiquette. So like this, are you having mantris? This is a qualification of mantris. Then Rama asks, Mantro Vijayamulam hi Ragyam Bhavati Raghava Susamvrito Mantradaraihi Amatehi Shastra Kovidaihi. Do all these mantras, do all these mantris, they come from the perspective of scriptures as well. And this is very beautiful sloka. I always tell about this whenever this segment comes. Another view which is very common. Okay, Ravana says, Mantra Moolam hi Vijayam Prahurarya Manasvinaha Tasmadvai Rochaye Mantram Ramam Prati Mahabalaha. The same words in a very slightly different form. Mantro Vijaya Moolam hi. He says Mantra Moolam hi Vijayam. So we can see the alignment. The people in that state, they clearly understand that counseling or mantralochana is very, very important. And mantralochana has to happen in a certain manner, which is what Ravana elaborates in great detail when he talks about the different kinds of ministers. Here Rama is talking about the same thing. How are you doing mantralochana? Are you doing mantralochana with a select few? You cannot do mantralochana with 1,000 murkhas. Kachit sahasran murkhanam ekamichasi panditam. One qualified, educated, loyal. Okay, we cannot see all these lines standalone. Okay, this qualification of a mantri, it's not one pandita. This pandita we need to read in conjunction with the first statement, where they need to be of a great lineage, they need to be jitendriya, they need to be atma samashura. All these things are important. Okay, this qualification, in fact, we can see in Vibhishana. If we take Ravana's mantralochana, the only person who gives a counterpoint of view from great lineage, jitendriya, atma samashura, vichakshana. Okay, in fact, the way it starts there also, with a great amount of scriptural interpretation, Vibhishana starts to talk. And he also gives those points of view when he is talking in two places. One, when he is condemning the act of killing Hanuman when he comes as a messenger. The second point is all the three mantralochanas Vibhishana is doing twice in the court and once in person. That Eka Panditaha. Unfortunately, Ravana is the example of having mantralochana with Sahasran Murkhanam. Okay, but Eka Pandita, he is not able to pay attention to that Eka Pandita. Here Rama says, you need to plan, you cannot plan everything all alone. It is important that you are supposed to Kachin mantrayase naikaha, na ekaha, kachinna bahubissaha. Don't do it with too many people. Okay, then everybody will have different points of view. You cannot come to consensus. But don't do it alone also. You need to do it with a select set of people. That is why this delegation is very important. Even now we see how they have selected the set of people who need to represent India's stance about Operation Sindoor in multiple other countries. Okay, it was not decided that only the external affairs minister will go. Okay, there seems to be a bias, etc. and all. Very beautifully they have structured. Okay, seeing us, even Pakistan wants to do the same thing. But unfortunately, they are not getting that kind of reception. Okay, this is called first mover advantage. Abhiyata prahartacha sena naya visharadaha. Okay, so we had the first mover advantage. I mean, either in Operation Sindoor, either in the attack, which is what that statement says. In our strategy, we need to be proactive. Or even in the way you play the card of diplomacy. There also, I think, the first mover advantage, and very beautifully taking all the opposition parties together. This is national agenda. It is not about, okay, my party, your party. We are all together serving the country. So that is how this was planned and taken. So therefore, here, Rama says, oh Bharata, are you taking the mantralochana of a select few ministers and not too many and not singly only you? The other one is very important. Kachitte mantrito mantro rashtram na paridavati. It is important that these ministers also keep in their minds the mantralochana. Okay, this particular point we can see in Rama Guna also. All of us know that Sarga, Gupta Mantraha, is a very, very important thing. Where Valmiki is talking about, he always Nibritaha Samritakaro Gupta Mantraha Sahayavan. The mantralochana, whatever plan is there in the mind, in the heart, that cannot be revealed unless it is coming to a great deal of concretization. We need to be very clear, okay, this is the plan and this is the final detailed plan, not just idea. Idea, people can take it and then run. A detailed plan is different from idea. So once the plan starts getting concretized, okay, today we saw that Chenab, the big railway arch. I don't know how many people would have seen that much earlier, but it is very beautiful. I think a lot of such things like this Operation Sindoor, etc. and all is Gupta Mantraha. You should know. Okay, silently all these mobilization of forces will happen at different points, and immediately in unison everybody had to strike at the same point. Okay, that is how vyuhas are done, marshalling of armies are done. So all these are learnings. Business, in fact, a lot of strategy. The term strategy itself is associated with war. Okay, war is associated with that kind of planning, that kind of execution in unison. The art of strategy, the art of war itself translated into business strategies. So here, keeping the plan very, very clear and to a select few is very, very important. This we can see in Rama Gunas, Gupta Mantraha. Here Rama is asking, I hope all of them are not revealing it to it until it is coming to a certain degree in terms of execution. Then further about ministers. Ministers is a very important topic. So he is dealt in detail. Kaschid artham vinishchitya lagumulam mahodayam. This is again minimum input, maximum yield. Okay, this is a simple sutra. Lagumulam Mahodayam. One of the examples I can think about is the world was wonderstruck when we did our Chandrayaan, the lunar mission. Okay, lunar mission was successful, not just successful, but it was coming at a very, very low cost. Okay, a lot of people are wondering how come India was able to make such a low cost moon mission and able to achieve it successfully. But this is a beautiful way. In fact, a lot of indigenization right now happening on our missile power, on our sonar, radar technologies, on our drone technology, etc. and all are sitting in this space. It has to be Gupta Mantra also. It has to be very secretive, but it has to be with limited resources, but maximum yield. One of the big things we have as strength for us is human resources. India is known for its human resource, and there you are able to get a lot of minds who talk about national security in single focus. They are able to get this out very, very beautifully. And they all put the nation before their self. They are all selfless. So therefore, they are all ready to commit their entire life. Tirelessly, they are working for these kind of technologies. Kachit Sahasran Murkanam, that we have already seen. So these kind of things, the strategy, the mantralochana, etc., what is kept secret, and at the right time, these ministers have to make sure that they are able to also execute them properly. It is not enough if they plan well, they need to execute. In fact, in a later place, they are also talking about, are the ministers without any bias? The ministers cannot be prejudiced. In fact, we talk about dynastic politics, etc. A minister should be unbiased. If a minister's son or their family has done anything wrong in an unbiased manner, they need to take strict action. This we will see in justice, the J part of it. Here, the ministers discuss about all these different things and make sure they give a counterpoint of view also. And then he also talks about, are you assigning superior jobs to superior people, mediocre jobs to mediocre people, and inferior jobs to people who are used to doing the routine tasks. It's not about inferior, it is about mundane. It's about mechanical tasks. There are intellectual tasks, there are mechanical tasks. So you need to make sure this division of labor is happening, and this is sometimes which happens from the ministerial perspective. Administration is very, very important. From there, he moves to asking about the army. The M part is over, then it comes to army. The most important part of the army is, now we call it as Chief of Defense Staff, Commander-in-Chief, Senapati. The Senapati has to be of a certain kind of a cadre. Okay, what is that cadre? What is that caliber? Kachid drishtascha shurascha matiman dhutiman shuchihi kulinaha chanuraktascha dakshaha senapatihi kritaha. This Senapati, he has to be a man of great might. Obviously, you can't have somebody who is very, very small, timid, courageless, etc. as Senapati. Very, very difficult. Okay, he can be short, but he cannot be timid. He cannot be a person without courage. So therefore, Shuraha, Matiman, he has to be a great intellect. Whenever I think about this line, we think about even Shivaji. Shivaji versus that Afzal Khan. Our Guruji used to keep talking about. Shivaji used to be small. So I am sure Afzal Khan, when you would have seen Shivaji, you would have thought, oh, this puny fellow, this little guy, like how Maricha thought about Rama, thinking this guy doesn't even have a mustache. Okay, as if keeping or not keeping a mustache is going to win war. The same kind of arguments happened between Lakshmana and Atikaya. Atikaya says, you are a small baby figure in front of me. Okay. He says, how does it matter? Whoever wins the war is the victor. Okay, it doesn't matter if a person is big or small. Okay. Even Vamana was able to destroy Bali's ego. Right? That is how we have seen. So therefore, it doesn't matter if you are short or tall, etc. and all. But you need to be a Shura. Okay, and Shura is not just about the external might, it's also about internal might. Therefore, he talks about Matiman, the Dhrutiman. You need to be courageous. Shuchihi, that is very important. For somebody who is a commander-in-chief, you need to be pure. You need to be pure in terms of your loyalty. Okay, which is why they say, the mixing is a very difficult thing, which is what Sugriva says. No, you cannot take the Dushat Bala. Okay, he relates to this topic. Especially when Ravana is also getting his Mula Bala. This Mula Bala is a set of people who have committed their lives, not just life, generations together, their lives to that king. Okay, they are sort of that pure blood. Shuchihi means that. Kulinaha, they need to be from a great lineage. Okay, and we see that a lot of people who are in armed forces, they will have their ancestors in armed forces. They inspire them. They say, I committed myself for the country, you go for the country. Today we saw, the person who was born, there was a kid who, I think we saw in one of the groups, where she was born during tsunami in a naval ship, and now she is going to join Navy. That is her aspiration. Okay, this is how I think the virtuous cycle works. That Senapati has to be from a noble family, has to be pure, has to be corruptionless, has to be experienced in warfare, and has to be very, very involved. I mean, it is a very, very tricky thing. Okay, this commander-in-chief should inspire. It is a very hierarchical thing, this army. Okay, nowadays corporate culture, the factories are still working with very, very command and control hierarchy, whereas the corporate officers or the new age officers are operating, they call it as, okay, why should we have so many levels? Let's break it. We will have minimum levels. We will have a very informal setup. We will have home in office. Okay, it's a very difficult thing. Okay, at some point of time, it's not going to be easy for us to get labor, get work done from the next generation. Okay, because of this breaking of this exact hierarchy, etc., there's a certain way you need to commit, and that is how organization structure works. This is going to break down that structure. It's going to be very fluid. It's not going to be easy. But whereas in army, it is very clear command and control. But the more important thing is, as much as this commander-in-chief is going to be hierarchical, he needs to be inspiring all the individual people. He needs to be seeing as spending time with each of those platoons, regiments. He needs to be seen by all these regiments, which is why our Prime Minister is going to different regiments and spending time. Because they are not just going to be inspiring, sitting in Red Fort and talking. They need to be there along with them, show that solidarity with them, and honor them. Okay, here very beautifully, Rama is asking about, is this person also honoring these people? Kachit balasya bhaktam cha vetram cha yathochitam samprapta kalam datavyam dadasi na vilambase. This is the next part. Kalati kramana chaiva bhakta veta nayor brataha bhartuhu kupyanti dushyanti sonartaha sumahan spritaha. This is the place where we also saw about this remuneration. One is the honoring part. From just army, it also moves into rewards and recognition. Okay, for the army people, they have a very, very tough routine. Okay, all this tough routine is for what? It is to handle an exception which might happen or not happen in their lifetime. Okay, for example, a lot of people who spent the time between that 1971 and maybe this 1995, they might have put 20 years of service, maybe they might not have fought a direct war. But every day, the rigor in terms of training is the same. Okay, they need to go through that routine, and they're all ready to lie down their lives for the people of the country. Okay, therefore, all the more important, here Rama is asking, are you honoring them? Are you paying the salary to them without any delay? Dadasi na vilambase. These people are ready to lay down their lives. The least expected is they have some dependents. They will have their parents, they will have their kids, they will have their family, siblings, for whom they are accountable. For them, what is important? They are not even going to be there in person to console or enjoy. Okay, both the sides are going to be difficult. Very rarely it will happen. They will be coming for their holidays, maybe 1 month for the entire year, etc. and all. That's what. All festivities, all joy and sorrow is in that 1 month. The rest of the time, they might be inaccessible only. So for them, the expectation is, I will take care of the country, you please take care of my family. That is the faith which they have gone. Okay, therefore it is very important, something like corruption, something like bribery, etc. cannot come into this armed forces. Very, very important. Therefore Rama is saying, are you paying salary to all these people? If they don't pay, that's what he is saying. If you are not paying to them on time, the people will get corrupt. They will get into bribery, etc. They might give your secrets to the enemy nation. They will get money out of it. They will want to make their life from it and all. It cannot happen. Therefore, don't do that. So this is all about the army people, and you need to be inspiring the army also. You need to spend time with them also. Then we go to the next part, which is the next R. We have already segued into that. So we talk about resources. Resources are multiple. We will just go to the A and then come back to the R. The A is ambassador. Ambassador, Electful Spice, Agriculture, Allied Businesses, all these, Ayodhya, all these are the different A's, right? So he is talking about Kachin Janapado Vidvan Dakshinaha Pratibhanavan Yatoktavadi Dutaste Krito Bharata Panditaha. Duta, diplomacy, this ambassador is a very, very important aspect. It's very important because you need to maintain external relationships. Okay, you need to be very, very sharp. You need to be intelligent to understand what neighboring nations are doing, what is happening inside the heart of their countries. Okay, the ambassadors, that's why a lot of these ambassador offices, the embassies are situated in their respective countries. Okay, the External Affairs Ministry, it's a complex ministry. The core office sits in India. All their arms and legs are all sitting in all the different countries. Okay, it must be the widest network possible where they need to get the intelligence, they need to get the internal politics and administration of their respective countries, and they will have to work with all those intelligence. Okay, and when things are not great, okay, when things are great, yes, they also do a lot of work. When things are not great also, they need to do a lot of work. Like what is happening right now, the diplomacy during the times of distress is also equally very, very important. They need to make sure, and the way our External Affairs Minister is putting forth his points, it is very, very clear, crystal clear. And it is not with certain subservience. Okay, oh, I am weak. Nothing like that. No, you need to, and already everybody is talking in unison. Our Prime Minister, External Affairs Minister, Defense Minister, we need to talk from a position of strength. Gone are the days when we are talking from a position of weakness. Okay, we need to be very objective. Okay, where dharma is, we know. Therefore, dharma is giving us the strength. And with that position of strength, we need to talk about. Therefore, no mincing words. Anything our External Affairs Minister says, that is all in the right spirit, and to cut out all those slack of all the others. Everybody will want to say something else. No, you do, try doing this, it's okay, you can go very soft and all those things. And it doesn't matter. No, you ask them to stop. Stop all the nonsense. Then let's talk. Okay, like they said, no, the trade and terrorism cannot go together. Okay, it's very, very clear. Blood and water cannot flow together. So straight talk. You cut down that piece, then we will talk about this. That is very, very important. Here, for the ambassador, what Rama says, what Rama asks Bharata is, Kaschin Janapado Vidvan Dakshinaha. That person has to be dexterous, that person has to be a Vidvan, that person has to be a Pratibhanavan. Okay, all these we saw in Rama also. Okay, how his Pratibha is, how his Vidvan is, how his Vidvat is. So we can see all those reflection of his gunas. Okay, so we can see Ramaraja in Rama gunas. So we can say how that Ramaraja is emanating from Rama when we read this, and then we see the benefits of this in Ramaraja Palashruti. Yatoktavadi, that's important. Yatoktavadi is what we just saw, being objective. Okay, what is to be told without mincing words. And it is very beautiful. I think the current External Affairs Minister, maybe out of all the ministers we have seen, is not known to mince any words. Yatoktavadi is a very beautiful term. We are able to relate very beautifully to this person. Right? Dutaha te krito bharata panditaha. Then he goes into this alertful spice. Kachit ashtadashanyeshu swapakshe dasha panchacha tribihi tribira vignataihi vetsi tirtani charakaihi. These charas, these spies have to be all over the place. Okay. All over the place in the sense they need to be anywhere and everywhere. That is the beauty of spies. Like Hanuman. Hanuman, we see his aspects of being a spy also. Okay, you need to be very, very clear where you should be looking for. When he comes and searches for Sita also, he is going every nook and corner, but he knows he goes to Ravana's harem. Okay, if you are a very, very courageous person, you will not go to those kind of places. You can go all around and say, oh, I didn't find. But he knows where to be found, and there you need to show different features of yours, how you need to be hiding yourself, how you need to be showing yourself. And the spies typically, and I am reminded of Ponniyin Selvan, because that's where a lot of these reflections of spies keeps coming. And this Alvar Kadiyan, one character comes. He is basically a spy. Everywhere he will be, whatever adventure he will still take. And then he will come and he will show how he is an effective spy. And these spies typically will come in different rupas. Okay, Mahendra Pallava was a famous person who used to be always in Marvesha. Okay, Nana Vida Rupadari. That's how it is. Like how Hanuman is. Hanuman can be in the form of a bird, can be in the form of a cat, can be a big Mahakapi, can be a very small person, he can be in a very human form, he can be in a bhikshu form. Okay, he can come in a bhikshu form to Rama and Lakshmana also, under the guidance of Sugriva. That is how Hanuman is. So the spies, they need to figure out what is happening. And very beautifully here, Rama is asking Bharata one very unique thing, that you need to understand through 3 different spies what is happening. You cannot trust only one spy. Okay, one Alvarkadiyan has to be tested with 2 other different Alvarkadiyans. That is how it is. Okay, you cannot trust only one person coming and saying. From different aspects, these spies should come and give you what is happening, and then you do a synthesis and you have your own version of truth from this. Okay, because it's very, very important to synthesize these things and to, because some person will be slow, some person will be fast, even there. So you need to have different sources of information. So it is very important to understand Vartase Ripusudana, Durbalan Anavajnaya Vartase Ripusudana. This is another important aspect. What we have seen, it's a great mistake we have made in our history. Rama is asking Bharata, you please don't take lightly the enemies you have defeated. Okay, these enemies will go and then they will come back. Okay, this is what, for everything I think Ramayana is giving us ample examples. Tara is talking about the same thing to Vali. When Sugriva within no time is coming back, again to wage war with Sugriva, Tara is saying, this guy has already lost with you and run away. Immediately he is coming back, there is something more to this. You please beware. Vali is not listening. Okay. Unfortunately, maybe our Prithviraj Chauhan might have taken this aspect from Vali and says, okay, how many times they come also, we will give them forgiveness, let them go. Again, they will come, okay, again I will fight, again I will forgive them. Unfortunately, that person killed. Muhammad Ghori was ruthless. Okay, this you don't see in some of those people. Okay, which is what Garuda tells Rama when he is talking about you are showing Vatsalya Bhava to your Ripus. Don't show like that. Why are you showing a lot of this love to your enemies? Okay, the enemies will love you without this also. It's okay. You be ruthless to them, they will love you. Okay, that is important. In fact, Vali, after Rama was ruthless to Vali, only Vali started loving Rama, right? After that also he was saying something, but at the end of it he understood. And he knows, okay, this is the right path, therefore better I love him, therefore Angada will be safe. He also understood that very, very clearly. So clearly here Rama is telling this is a golden line. I think we need to put this, okay, maybe Prithviraj should have read this multiple times. Then he would not have taken his enemies lightly and he would have not forgiven them immediately again and again. Kachinna loka yatikan brahmanam stata sevase anartha kushala ahete bala pandita maninaha. The people who are very materialistic in their approach, okay, we need to put them in their place. Okay, all of us know the example for this. Okay, and Rama goes to that extent of even putting Jabali to his place when Jabali is talking about lokayata. Okay, only material, only sukha bhogas is the highest form of whatever we need to aspire for is not a good thing in a state. Okay, there are much bigger things. This Abhyudaya, social welfare will not come with, unfortunately I am also in a capitalistic company, but yeah, capitalism is not single stakeholder capitalism, let us put it like that. There is a new fancy word nowadays called multi-stakeholder capitalism. That is what is ruling, because multi-stakeholder will include even communities, include societies, include employees, include vendors, include franchisee partners, value chain partners, everything. So multi-stakeholder capitalism is much better. Let us put it that way. Single stakeholder capitalism means squeeze everybody. This is the East India Company capitalism. Okay, squeeze all laborers, take all the money and don't keep it here also, put it in Gajanas and take it to UK. Okay, that is what it is. UK will be okay, we will not be okay. That is what it will be. So that kind of intense capitalism to squeeze, that's not which is ideal. And this lokayata, at the heart of it, it is to harbor a lot of selfishness. It will not harbor selflessness. Therefore, he says, don't go by this because materialists will talk. They will be with a lot of perverted intelligence. Unfortunately, I am sure Jabali was there when, I don't know, I think it happened even before Jabali and all came, this Kachit Sarga, right? Because only Bharata and Shatrugna were there. If Jabali was there and he would have heard this, I am sure he would not have spoken this. Same thing. In fact, This is exact thing whatever Rama says. These materialists will be with perverted intelligence. They will say something as if it is intelligent, but it is not intelligent. And the same thing Jabali says. And when Rama counters Jabali, he says, your thoughts might be noble but ignoble. You might be sounding intelligent but unintelligent. This is how he starts. Okay, the very words are coming here. So he says they will have their own limited logic to talk about all these things. Don't put them in their place. It is important for us to focus on the bigger good. Then he talks about Ayodhya. Ayodhya is a beautiful city. It has beautiful forts. Keep the forts better and better fortified. The forts need maintenance that has to be taken care of. The elephants, horses, don't compromise on the number of elephants and horses. You need to be always dissatisfied with the number of elephants and horses you have. You need to keep building these again and again. And here very beautifully he talks about, is our Ayodhya always with festivities? Is our Ayodhya devoid of beasts? Is devoid of the Vyadi? In Ramaraja Palasuti we say, no, na Vyadakritam Bayam. There is no Vyadi Bayam. So this is all the Ramaraja Palasuti. Here he is asking, we need to be making sure that the city and the villages are not affected by beasts, they are not affected by diseases, they are always with peace. The people of different communities, administration, the people of different communities are always in harmony. Agriculture is protected, that is very, very important. Kachitte daita sarve krishi goraksha jivinaha vartayam samsritastata lokohi sukamedate. Are you making sure agriculture, the protection of cows and the allied industry, which is the business coming out of agriculture, all these are in harmony? Are you paying enough importance and enough time are you spending on their maintenance? He is also talking about, are their maintenance being looked after you? Okay, you need to provide for that. This is where a subsidy happens. In every country, this is important. Agriculture, because it is dependent upon the weather. So he's also very beautifully talking about, and this is very close to me also, the water tanks have to be always samruddhi with water. Okay, which means there should be ponds, lakes, rivers, because this becomes the adhara for agriculture. And during times of natural disasters, calamities, agriculture has to be protected even then. So you need to be protecting the worst of the situations for agriculture because they are at the foundation of the society. Okay, without food, what will happen? So you need to have this samruddhi of dhana and dhanya. Both are very, very important. You need to have this in abundance. And are the citizens being protected? Kachit striyaha santvayasi kachitascha surakshitaha. Are women being protected? That's important. Agriculture, women folks, they are all supposed to be protected. Business has to be protected. Business has to be regulated. It can't be taking advantage of some other force. Then Rama goes into justice. It is important. Kachid aryo vishuddhatma Sharitas chora karmana prishtaha shastra kushalaihi na lobad vadite shuchihi. It is important that the people who are to be punished, they are punished in time, because justice delayed is justice denied. It is important that justice happens at the right time and everybody is given a fair trial. It is important that that happens. And there he talks about this one, that how the mantris, they are supposed to be with great integrity. He talks about Vyasane Kachid Adyasya Durgatasya cha Raghava Artam Viragaha Pashyanti Tava Matya Bhushutaha. The ministers have to be educated. They need to be people of integrity. And even if their family person is somebody who is under scanner, they need to be they have to be thoroughly examined in an unbiased manner between a rich and poor. Okay, look at the whatever Dirgha Darshitva, the foresight, the vision of Rama. Between the rich and poor, if there is a case, it has to be objectively seen in an unbiased manner, such that even if the rich is under scanner, that person has to be given the punishment. Okay, nowadays that is the problem, right? Wherever money cannot drive justice. Okay, justice has to be independent and it has to be unbiased and objective. It's very, very important. And likewise, if a noble person is falsely accused and without proper inquiry, they are punished. Immediately Rama says, Yani Mithya Vishastanam Patantyasrani Raghava Tani putra pashun gnanti prityartam anushasataha. The tears which fall from the victim who is falsely punished, that will destroy the entire. He is not talking about entire land. He is talking about the Raja's progeny and resources will be destroyed because of the tears of a falsely accused victim, unpunished victim. Therefore, in an unbiased manner, justice has to be served. It's very, very important. The other one on resources Rama is talking about is Ayaste Vipulaha Kachit Alpataro Vyayaha. Okay, this is again coming from the first sarga where Rama knows the sciences of income and expenditure. Ayakarma Upajnaha Sandarsha Vyayakarmavit. So he knows the sciences of income and expenditure. Here he talks about it is important that your expenditure is always lower than your income. There has to be savings. The Gajana has to be always there with something. The Gajana, every time government cannot say Gajana is gali, we will go and borrow from somebody else. Where will you borrow? You will have to borrow with neighbors. Then you will become their servants because you are already under a lot of credit you have taken from them. Therefore, he talks about that resourcefulness. The next part, he is talking about the justice is served. Okay, justice is elaborated, detailed manner to Bharata. Then he moves towards how every section of the society, okay, the administration has to be taken. Kachit gurumscha vruddhamscha tapasan devatatitin chaityamscha sarvan siddhartan brahmanamscha namasyasi. Kachit vruddhamscha balamscha vaidya mukhyamscha raghava dhanena manasa vacha tribiretaihi bhushase. All the different sections of the society, they need to be taken care of, especially the people who are vulnerable. Okay, this is another important terminology now. Okay, from a capitalistic perspective, when we go in search of resources, especially this is very important in the context of, say, mines. Okay, the natural resources are very much abound in places where tribals exist. Okay, and these tribals currently are defined by our government as marginalized, vulnerable communities. Okay, they're also, it's called, I think, MVNT, marginalized, vulnerable native tribes. Okay, most of these people are the ones who are displaced. Okay, a big corporation will go, or government itself will go. They will say, okay, I need this big mountain. Why? Because the mountain has iron ore, the mountain has coal under that mountain, the mountain has granite, the mountain has bauxite, the mountain has manganese. All natural resources are sitting in the mountain. Okay, therefore, I will need the mountain, I will have to quarry it. What will happen for all the people who are dependent on the mountain? Okay, they are mostly the scheduled tribes. The tribals, in fact, in Karnataka, they are all called as what? Jain Kurubas and Kadu Kurubas. Okay, we work with a lot of those people in Mysore. Jain is nothing but Ten. Okay, Ten has become Jain. Don't think it is J-A-N-E, which is an English word. That is not, this is not that Jain. This is, Ten has become Jain. The people who are dependent on the honey from the forest. Okay, they were Jain Kurubas. The other one is Kadu Kurubas. Kadu Kurubas are the ones who will take timber, who will take the wood, who will hunt, etc. and all. So the entire forest produce is the basis of the economy of these tribes. Unfortunately, if you go and destroy the forest, their livelihood is gone. What will they do? They know only that. Okay, now, unfortunately, the government will also try and say, okay, we will give them rehabilitation, they will give them free land, they will give them free access to electricity, they will give them free water, they will give them free 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees per month, etc. and all. A lot of them finally, they don't do anything. They will only drink and intoxicate themselves and then spend their time. Okay. Now a lot of other organizations are trying to make good livelihood for them. So here it is very important that all the marginalized, vulnerable communities, here Rama is not talking about only the scheduled tribes, but it is talking about the vulnerable population. Okay, the old people, the very young people, the kids, women, people who are dependents, people who are widows, widowers, people who are suffering from certain diseases, terminally ill people. All these people have to be given social security. The very essence of social security is dealt here. Then Rama moves into the different aspects of Yama Niyama. Okay, all this what we saw so far, R-A-M-A, R-A-J, up to this all are about Abhyudaya. Now he slowly moves into the Yama Niyama aspects, which is about the personal discipline of a ruler. So he talks about Kachid Artena va dharmam, Artam dharmena va punaha, ubau va pratilobena, kamena chana badase. It is very important that you have balance of all these things. Dharma, Kama, Artha, Tattvajnaha. This is one of the gunas of Rama, right? Dharma, Kama, Artha, all these three are kept in balance. One cannot impact the other. We need to see this like a beautiful Venn diagram. Three circles, the center point, which is the intersection of all these circles, becomes your sweet spot. Okay, it is to be a synthesis. It needs to be a sweet midpoint of Dharma, Artha and Kama. You cannot give up Dharma for the sake of Artha. You cannot give up Artha for the sake of Kama. You cannot give up Kama for the sake of the other two. So therefore, oh Bharata, are you keeping all these things in balance? It is important to be in equilibrium. This is yoga. He is talking about the synthesis of Dharma, Artha, Kama in the Grihastha, in the Kshatriya Dharma. It is to lead the life of yoga. It is to lead the life of equilibrium. One you cannot stretch for the other. When something is getting stretched, you will have mental disturbance. That will lead to stress. Therefore, this Yama and Niyama. And he is talking about multiple things. You don't fall prey to falsehood. You don't pray false to anger. Amoga Krodha Harshascha. We talk about our guna of Rama. That is showing here. You cannot become subject to anger. You cannot be a wrathful person. Okay. You cannot be always giggling away to glory also. Okay. You cannot be always laughing, then you will become a laughing stock to people. Okay. That's why it says Amoga Krodha Harshascha. Okay. Even your laughter should be measured. Your anger should be measured. It should be directed towards the rightful things. It cannot be just random. Are you not falling prey to carelessness, to procrastination? Vibhajya kale kalagnya sarvan varada sevase kachitte brahmana sharma sarva shastrartha kovidaha asham sante mahaprajnya paurajana padaisaha. So you need to be having this ideal mix of Dharma, Artha, Kama. You cannot fall prey to anger. You cannot fall prey to jealousy. You cannot fall prey to procrastination. You cannot fall prey to perverted intelligence. You cannot fall prey to failure to guard your secrets. You cannot fall prey to failure to doing the jobs at the right time. You cannot fall prey to developing enmity everywhere. Okay, that's another important thing. Okay, if somebody is very wrathful, then you will create enemy everywhere. Okay, okay, anybody who comes close by, you will always show your anger face. Then you will have no friends. If you have no friends, then you will always have stress. Okay, every night you will be thinking somebody is going to attack me from somebody else, somewhere else. Okay, this is how a lot of people who are stressed because of their anger, they will be experiencing this insomnia. Okay, very, very clear. So therefore, Rama is saying, you need to sleep well also. In fact, in the first opening statement, he is saying, are you waking up at the right time? Are you sleeping at the right time? In fact, he is talking about, are you sleeping at the right time? And before you are asleep, are you talking about the day, how it went by? Morning, you need to start planning. In the night, when you are going to sleep, just before that sleep, you need to think, have I ticked all my tasks, to-do list for today? Or the to-do list becoming a Hanuman tail? Okay, is it ever growing? Okay, and are you contemplating, have I maximized my impact on society today? Okay, it's a very, very beautiful thing Rama is saying. Are you reflecting? Are you introspecting on a daily basis? Okay, we will all go to a place like Coorg, sit and then introspect on the last 12 months. Nothing is going to happen. We need to introspect on a day-to-day basis. Rama is telling Bharata, oh Bharata, every day you spend some time before your sleep on how much you have worked for the society that day. Is something not right? The next day you need to be slightly restless and start doing all those things. Okay, it's a very, very beautiful aspect he is talking about. Then he is talking about a lot of blemishes. Okay, the blemishes of 10, the blemishes of 6, the blemishes of 8, etc. and all. All those things, you need to be very, very paying attention to all these blemishes. If you are not paying attention, for one of the thing he is talking about is this fortification. Okay, this is very beautifully we see in the chapter of Lanka. There is this Vanadurga, there is this Giridurga, there is this Jaladurga, etc. You need to have forts by moats. You need to have forts of forest. You need to have forts which is the physical fort. You need to have the forts which is of the Giri. All these things you need to keep maintaining. If you are not paying attention at the right time, okay, it is like saying, okay, everything I don't need to maintain. It is all maintenance free for 100 years. Okay, and when an enemy is coming and pushing the gate will fall down. Then what will happen? Then all the enemy will come inside. So all these, the slothness, the laziness cannot happen. So these are blemishes he talks about. Then slowly he moves towards the Nishayasa aspect. Kachitte sapala vedaha, kachitte sapala kriyaha, kachitte sapala dharaha, kachitte sapalam shrutam. Is your Vedic scriptural learning your analysis, your interpretation, your immersion, and your expression. All these things are they bearing fruit. Kachitya sapala kriyaha. Okay, it is important that you are not just having theory. Okay, swadhyaya nratam tapasvi vagvidamaram. We are talking about swadhyaya and tapas. It is important to have shastra buddhi, and we need to show in action. And there Ranganji used to say, tapas has two dimensions, anushtana and anubhava, both. So through the anushtana you will get anubhava, and through the anubhava you will be able to guide more and more people, and that is where you will use the scriptural backing. Okay, it will be like a double engine government. Okay, your shastra buddhi is important, your practical knowledge is important. Both of those are very, very important. Kachitya sapala dharaha kachitya sapalam shutam. Your family, your consort, okay, you need to be in harmony. That is also, is it bearing fruit? So it's important. All these becomes from your abhyudaya aspect, is slowly coming to a nishreyasa aspect, and therefore you need to have conviction within yourself that you are contributing towards, you need to have good ayus for you to guide the entire society. You need to make sure that internally you are in peace, therefore you are able to contribute outside. If internally you are in peace, you will be able to have a good physical strength. Okay, like how Trumula says, no, Udalai valarthen, uyir valarthen. For Udalai valarthen, you need to have, make sure your Ulam valarthen. Okay, you need to have a good mind, a sound mind and a sound body. Sound mind is important for a sound body is important for you to contribute to the society. So therefore, all these things will lead, and therefore he is saying, therefore we need to follow our ancestral course. Okay, look at the kind of people, the ancestors, Manu, Mandata, Ikshvaku, Raghu, Dilipa, Nahusha, all extraordinary people, Anaranya. So such a great course we have got from our ancestors. We need to follow that course which is virtuous. So these are all internal. These are all internal push which need to happen. The last one which is very, very beautiful, which Rama says is, Kachid asham samanebhyo mitrebhyaha samprayachasi. Before that, Kachid swad kritam bhojyam eko nashnasi raghava. Okay, you need to, are you not enjoying all resources yourself? Are you sharing and enjoying? Okay, it is very, very important. Mogamannam vindate apracheta satyam brahmi vaditsasya. That is why our scriptures are talking again and again for us to share everything and enjoy. Okay, the more selfless we are, the more expanded we are, the more benevolent we become, the more magnanimous we become, the more insightful we become, the more cognitive we become. Okay, and that internal force, it gives you a force which cannot be measured from the external forces. Okay, that is what is giving us a foundation. Therefore, Rama comes to this level, which in Maslow's hierarchy we talk about self-actualization. He is talking about, are you in that plane of self-actualization? From there you will be able to, this sharing and enjoying, okay, it is to make this entire Rajya as something which is what Kausalya tells Rama, this throne belongs to Janardana. And it is a great responsibility that you are going to sit in this throne and you are going to do this Raja Paripalana on behalf of that universal Lord. You are Lord because you are going to be in the place of universal Lord. Okay. And this is something she tells the universal Lord himself. Very beautifully it is structured. And this we need to understand. All of us are instruments. All of us are doing certain duty which is ordained to us. And because of that position, a lot of other things comes. That's why when Rama is going to the forest, he stops everything. All this paraphernalia is for that position of being a king or a Yuvaraja, not for me. Therefore, all these things, let it be here. I will walk. By foot, I will go. That is what he says. So we need to be very, very clear in our conscience that these are all things which have come to us because of a lot of nurture and nature. Okay, they were born in this great lineage. He closes with these two things. We were born in a great lineage, Bharata. That is how I think all these things is going to come to us. Okay, this Rajya is because we were born in this great Ikshvaku lineage. The second aspect of nurture is as long as we are able to share and enjoy this great thing, this great kingdom, I think the world, the people will be always with us. And we will all move forward together, which is Abhi-udaya. Everybody in and around we will move forward, and for that the core nature, the Nishreyasa is going to be very, very important. And he closes with that saying, Avapya Kritsna Masudam Yathavaditaha Chutaha Swargam Upaiti Vidwan. The one who is able to rule the world with this sense of selflessness, of Abhyudaya and Nishreyasa. With Nishreyasa, you push towards Abhyudaya and you work for the welfare of the society in the concept of Ramaraja. Again, to just recap, we talk about R, the royal family, A, Acharya, M, ministers, the other A, which is army, the next R, which is the 5 R's, which is about reward, recognition, resources, revenue, remuneration. All these things are the 5 R's in R. Then we spoke about the A, which is about ambassador, alertful spies, which is about Ayodhya, which is about administration and agriculture and allied business. Then we spoke about J, which is justice. We spoke about Y, which is the Yama and Niyama aspect on what an administrator should avoid and what he should practice. And the last A, which is talking about the A, which is the Ananda, Atma, actualization aspects of it. With that Nishrayasa, if you are able to pull this entire aspect of Ramaraja, then we will see the entire benefit of Ramaraja in the Palashruti, where everybody is aspiring for Dharma, where nobody is suffering. People are all very, very happy. Sarvamudita mevasid, sarve dharma paro bhavat. Everybody is happy. Sarvamudita mevasid. How can this utopian thing even happen? It is possible. If this Ramaraja in this aspect, in the way how Rama is talking about, that Ramaraja was practiced. Okay, this could be sounding as theory, but if we read this in conjunction with the first sarga where it talks about Rama gunas, the reflection of each of those gunas are seen here, and the execution of all these things is seen through Bharata. I think we should be very clear. Valmiki is not going to talk every line about, okay, Rama came, ruled, and he showed one by one this guna, etc. and all. Here he has given this sutra, this concept of Ramaraja went to Bharata. And what did Bharata do? 10 years, 14 years of ruling, he increased the Dhanadanya by 10 times. Okay, he is submitting all those things to Rama. And Bharata was not even on the throne in Ayodhya. He was in the form of an ascetic, practicing austerity in Nandigrama. And with the power of this Ramaraja Sutra, he was able to develop the country by 10 times. And after that, immediately after Pattabhisheka, the Ramaraja Palashruti is being spoken about Valmiki, which means that time itself it has started. Okay, it is a flow. And for years together during Ramaraja, people were happy, people were always aspiring for Dharma. Ramo Ramo Rameti Prajanam Abhavan Kataha Ramabhutam Jagadabu Rame Rajyam Prashasati. In Ramaraja, everybody were in the spirit of Rama. The spirit of Ramaraja was thoroughly felt, imbibed and expressed by each and every administrator, and therefore Ramaraja is the ultimate utopian state which we all want to aspire, and every management, institution, corporation, government, defense, everywhere, if you are able to take the essence of this Ramaraja, the concept of Ramaraja, I think the Ramaraja's phala will automatically be available for all of us to take, and we will all be in peace. In His will is always our peace. Jai Sitaram.
ಎನ್ನಗಾನು ರಾಮ ಭಜನ ಎನ್ನಗಾನು ರಾಮ ಭಜನ ಕಣ್ಣ ಮೀಗಿಲುನ್ನದ ಎನ್ನಗಾನು ರಾಮ ಭಜನ ಕಣ್ಣ ಮೀಗಿಲುನ್ನದ ಎನ್ನಗಾನು ರಾಮ ಭಜನ ಕಣ್ಣ ಮೀಗಿಲುನ್ನದ ಎನ್ನಗಾನು ರಾಮ ಭಜನ ಆ సన్నుతించు శ్రీరామా సన్నుతించు శ్రీరామా సన్నుతించు శ్రీరామా సన్నుతించు శ్రీరామా చంద్రుదళబరావే మనస సన్నుతించు శ్రీరామా చంద్రుదళబరావే మనస ఎన్నగాను రామ భజన కన్న మీకిలున్నదా ఎన్నగాను రామ భజన రామచిలుకను కడపించి ప్రేమ మాటలాడనేర్పి రామచిలుకను కడపించి ప్రేమ మాటలాడనేర్పి రామ రామ రామాయణుచు రమణి ఓకధీ రామ రామ రామాయణుచు రామ 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 రామచిలుక నోకడపించి ప్రేమ మాటలాడనేర్పి రామ రామ రామాయణుచు రమణి ఓకధీ ప్రేమ మీర భద్రాది ప్రేమ మీర భద్రాది దాముడైన రామా విభుడు ప్రేమ మీర భద్రాది దాముడైన రామా విభుడు ప్రేమ మీర భద్రాది దాముడైన రామా విభుడు కామితాత ఫలము వీచి కైవల్య మొసగోలేదా కామితాత ఫలము వీచి కైవల్య మొసగోలేదా ఎన్నగాను రామ భజన కన్న మీకిలున్నదా ఎన్నగాను రామ భజన
नाम साजी रे पतित पावन नाम साजी रे ब्रज साचदावी आम्हा हो ब्रज साचदावी आम्हा हो आम्हा हो अहो जय रामा हो जय रामा अहो जय रामा हो जय रामा दीनानाथ अनाथ बंधो दीनानाथ अनाथ बंधो तुझ विन तुझं विन कोण, तुझं विन कोण आम्हा हो, आम्हा हो. अहो जय रामा, हो जय रामा, अहो जय रामा, हो जय रामा. दास म्हणे नाम तारका तुझे, दास म्हणे नाम तारका तुझे, बहुप्रिय तुझ्या, बहुप्रिय तुझ्या, बहुप्रिय तुझ्या नामा हो, नामा हो. अहो जय रामा, हो जय रामा, अहो जय रामा, हो जय रामा. பண்ணலாம் ராமராம ரகுராம் ஜட்டாயுனால
அது கரதூஷணம்னால ராமராம பண்ணலாம். நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணலாம்? அதுக்கு முன்னாடி வர சபரி சந்த ஜடாயு பண்ணலாம். நான் ஜடாயு
ராமராஜ்யம்
சித்தராஜ்
ராமராஜ்யம் பண்ணி ராமன்
அதான் சித்தராம
சிஸ்டராம்
சித்தராம் வசித்த முனிவர்
அரியணையில் பிரானை அமர்த்தி, சித்தராம் வசிஷ்ட முனிவர் அரியணையில் பிரானை அமர்த்தி, அபிடேகம் செய்து வைத்து மணிமகுடம் சுனில் வைத்தாரே, அபிடேகம் செய்து வைத்து மணிமகுடம் அணிவித்தாரே. ராமனின் ராஜ்யம்தான் தேவ சாம்ராஜ்யம்தான், விதவைகள் வருந்தவில்லை, விலங்குகள் கஷ்டமில்லை, விதவைகள் வருந்தவில்லை, விலங்குகள் கஷ்டமில்லை, வியாதியால் அச்சமில்லை, வேள்விக்கு தடையும் இல்லை, வியாதியால் அச்சமில்லை, வேள்விக்கு தடையும் இல்லை, ராமனின் ராஜ்யம்தான் தேவ சாம்ராஜ்யம் தான்.
யாவரும் தர்மம் கொண்டே, யாவரும் தர்மம் கொண்டே, யாவரும் ராமனை கண்டே, வாழ்கையே வாழ்ந்ததனால், யாவரும் ராமனை கண்டே, வாழ்கையே வாழ்ந்ததனால், ராமனின் ராஜ்யம் தான் தேவ சாம்ராஜ்யம் தான். வாழ்க்கையே ராமனாகும், ராமனே வாழ்வமாகும், ராமனே ராமனாகும், ராமனே வாழ்வமாகும், ராமன் வாழ்வு தன்னில்
வாழ்க்கையே ராமன் தன்னில் ராமனில் வாழ்வு தன்னில் வாழ்க்கையே ராமன் தன்னில் ராமனின் ராஜ்யம் தான் சாம்ராஜ்யம் தான்.
மழை தன்னை ஈர்த்து கொண்டு மாருதத்தை வீச செய்து
மழை தன்னை கொண்டு மாருதத்தை வீச செய்து
மலர்களும் கிளைகளும் கொண்டு மரங்களும் ஓங்கினவே
மரங்களும் கிளைகளும் கொண்டு மரங்களும் ஓங்கினவே
ராமனின் ராஜ்யம் தான் தேவ சாம்ராஜ்யம் தான். ராமனாய் வாழ்பவர்கள் வெற்றியை பெற்றவர்கள்
ராமனாய் வாழ்பவர்கள் வெற்றியை பெற்றவர்கள்
பாறையை அடியில் வைத்து வீடு கட்டி வாழ்பவர்கள்
பாறையை
அடியில் வைத்து வீடு கட்டி வாழ்பவர்கள்
ராமனின் ராஜ்யம் தேவ சாம்ராஜ்யம்
குடும்பத்தில் வளர்ச்சியுண்டாம் செல்வத்தில் விருத்தி உண்டாம் குடும்பத்தின் வளர்ச்சி உண்டாம் செல்வத்தின் விருத்தி உண்டாம் ஆயிலும் பலமும் உண்டாம் புத்தியும் சுகமும் உண்டாம் பலமும் உண்டாம் புத்தியும் சுகமும் உண்டாம் ராமனின் ராஜ்யம்தான் தேவ சாம்ராஜ்யம் தான். ராமகாதை கேட்கும் செல்வன் மக்களை பெறுவான். ராமகாதை கேட்கும் செல்வன் மக்களை பெறுவான். புலன்களை வென்று ஆழ்வான் அரங்கனின் பலத்தை வளர்ப்பான். புலன்களை வென்று ஆழ்வான் அரங்கனின் பலத்தை வளர்ப்பான். ராமனின் ராஜ்யம்தான் தேவ சாம்ராஜ்யம் दासाची संपत्ती राम सीतापती दासाची संपत्ती राम सीतापती दासाची संपत्ती राम सीतापती दासाची संपत्ती राम सीतापती जीवाच्या संगती राम एक जीवाच्या संगती राम एक दासर्களின் செல்வன் ராம சீதாபதி தாசர்களின் செல்வன் ராம சீதாபதி ஜீவர்களின் பூகை ராம் ஒன்றே ஜீவர்களின் பூகலிடம் ராமன் ஒன்னாதா राम एक पीता राम एक भ्राता சகோதர ராமனே நம் அன்னை, ராமனே நம் தந்தை,
ராமனே நம் அன்னை, ராமனே நம் தந்தை,
ராமனே நம் அண்ணல் சகோதரன்,
ராமனே நம்
சகோதரன், சகோதர வித்யா வைபவ காஞ்சன,
சகோதர வித்யா வைபவ காஞ்சன,
சர்வகா ஸ்வஜன ராமயேக, சகோதரன் வித்யை வைபவ காஞ்சனம்,
வைபவ காஞ்சனன்,
இந்த ஜனம் யாவும் எங்கள் ராமனே,
எங்கள் ராமனே,
ராம ஏக சுவாமி ராமகா கைவாரி,
ராம ஏக சுவாமி ராம கைவாரி,
லாபயா சன்சாரி ராம ஏக,
ராமயா சன்சாரி ராம ஏக,
ராம ஏக ஞான ராம ஏக தியான,
ராம ஏக ஞான ராம ஏக ஞான,
ராம சமாதான ராமதாசி,
ராம சமாதான
ராமன் ஒன்றே ஞானம், ராமன் ஒன்றே தியானம்,
ராமன் ஒன்றே ஞானம், ராமன் ஒன்றே தியானம்,
ராமனே சமாதானம் இது ராமதாஸ்யம்,
ராமனே சமாதானம் இது ராமதாஸ்யம்,
ராமனே சமாதானம் இது ராமதாஸ்யம், ஜானகீகாந்த ஸ்மரணம்
ராம ராம, श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुट सुधारे, भरनौ रघुवर विमल यश जोधायक बलचार, बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार, भल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेश विहार, जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर, रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिते को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की सूक्ष्म रूप धरि यही दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति की बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई सहस बदन तुमरो यश गावे हस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिग्बाल जहांते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहांते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो दाहि मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए असर जनाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुलारे तुम रखवारे हो जन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आप तीनों लोक हाँकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट के हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों युग प्रताप प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता सवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे भाषा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। काल रघुपति पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमद से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलवीर। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई। कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की हाय। जोई सद पार पाठ हर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साही गौरी सा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा कीजे नादर दया लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। जय बोलो हनुमान की।
उडाला जाऊली लंका आला बाबा मारुती।
आला जाऊली लंका आला बाबा मारुती।
उडाला जाऊली लंका आला बाबा मारुती।
आला जाऊली लंका
आला बाबा मारुती। आला बाबा मारुती। आला रे बाबा मारुती।
आला बाबा मारुती। आला रे बाबा मारुती।
आला बाबा मारुती। आला रे बाबा मारुती।
आला बाबा मारुती। आला रे बाबा मारुती।
उडाला जाऊली लंका आला बाबा मारुती।
आला जाऊली लंका आला बाबा मारुती।
उडाला 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 जाऊली लंका आला बाबा मारुती।
आला बाबा मारुती। आला रे 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 बाबा
उडाला जावली लंका आला बाबा मारुती